Hey, welcome to a new video. In the 12th century, fishermen off the coast of Suffolk, England, hauled something bizarre into their nets. A naked, hairy man, later known as the Wild Man of Orford. According to chronicler Ralph of Coggeshall, this being, captured near Orford Castle around 1167, was described as human-like, but covered in hair with a shaggy beard. He ate raw fish, squeezing out the juices, and refused to speak, even under torture. When taken to St. Bartholomew's Church, he showed no sign of reverence, baffling his keepers. Under strict supervision, he was allowed to swim in the sea, but he eventually dove beneath the nets, resurfaced several times, and vanished forever. Was he a merman, a lost sailor, or something supernatural? Some suggest he suffered from hypertrichosis, but his silence and mysterious escape still fuel speculation. The Wild Man remains a symbol of Orford, immortalized in art and legend, leaving us to wonder what truly lurked beneath the waves of medieval England.
Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
In the late 19th century, a Russian nobleman named Janaba obtained a colossal, hair-covered woman in the remote mountains of Abkhazia. He called her Zana. She stood nearly 6 feet 7 inches or 2 meters tall, with reddish-black hair and immense strength. Zana was imprisoned and displayed as a curiosity, with rumors that she was an almasty, a Russian creature akin to Bigfoot. She never spoke, slept in a self-dug pit, and tore apart any clothing given to her. Stories claim she outran horses, swam against raging currents, and endured freezing winters without shelter. Over time, she adjusted slightly, performing simple tasks like grinding corn, and bore 6 children by local men, some of whose descendants still live in the region. In 2021, DNA tests revealed Zana was fully human, likely of African descent, possibly a former enslaved woman with hypertrichosis. Still, tales of her superhuman strength and endurance continue to blur the line between fact and folklore. Was she a feral human, a victim of cruelty, or something more? Zana's story, rooted in Abkhazian archives, remains a haunting blend of reality and myth. In 2010, a disturbing YouTube video emerged showing a man named Ibrahim Yugul smoking a cigarette inside a metal cage in Turkey. The grainy footage depicted him thin, eerily calm, and watched by onlookers. Little is known about Yugul, with no official documents confirming his identity or the purpose of the cage. Theories abound. Was he a psychiatric patient, a victim of captivity, or part of a grotesque carnival attraction? Some dismissed him as a village eccentric, while others suspected a violent family dispute. The video itself, raw and unsettling, offered no context, leaving only unanswered questions. Was it staged for viral shock value, or did it reveal a real injustice? The image of Yugul behind bars evoked the dark legacy of freak shows, where vulnerable individuals were exploited as spectacle. With no follow-up reports and only fleeting footage to go by, the mystery deepened, raising uncomfortable questions about how society treats its most defenseless. In 2009, a viral YouTube video from Pakistan claimed to show a fox-human hybrid discovered in a remote village. The strange creature fascinated viewers worldwide. Experts immediately dismissed it as a hoax, likely a deformed animal, a taxidermy creation, or a striking film prop. Pakistan's rural areas are steeped in folklore about jinns and supernatural shapeshifters, which may have fueled the narrative. No verifiable details, such as the exact location, the finder, or scientific analysis, were ever provided, and the grainy footage strongly suggested fakery. Yet the video struck a chord, blending ancient myth with the modern appetite for bizarre online content. This so-called hybrid being tapped into humanity's timeless fascination with the blurred boundary between man and beast, echoing legends of werewolves and chimeras. The phenomenon showed just how quickly stories spread in the digital age, and why the mystery still grips our imagination. Jerome of Sandy Cove remains one of the strangest figures in Nova Scotia's history. In September 1863, he was discovered on the beach at Sandy Cove, legless and in a weakened state. His wounds had been freshly treated by a skilled surgeon, suggesting he had been abandoned there by a passing ship. He carried a loaf of bread, a jug of water, and a tin of biscuits. When questioned, he muttered something that sounded like Jerome, a name that stuck. He spoke neither English nor French and rarely communicated, often growling at visitors. His soft hands revealed he was unaccustomed to hard labor, and he appeared to be of Mediterranean origin. Jerome was first cared for by the Albright family in Digby Neck, then by others in the community. The government of Nova Scotia provided a small stipend for his upkeep. He later lived with the Nicola family in Métagon before spending more than 40 years with the Comeau family in Saint-Alphonse-de-Clair. The Comeaus even charged admission to those who wished to see him, exploiting his notoriety. Jerome died on April 15, 1912, the same day the RMS Titanic sank. To this day, his true identity and origins remain an unsolved enigma. Video footage surfaced showing a creature with a human-like face and a dog-like body, sparking speculation about the existence of a human-animal hybrid. The strange clip captured global curiosity and debate, yet its origins remain unclear, and no reliable information has ever surfaced, only deepening the mystery. Some interpreted it as evidence of a hybrid being, while others dismissed it as misidentification or a digital hoax. The creature's uncanny appearance, with a distinctly human-looking face atop a body that seemed more animal than human, fueled even more speculation. Observers pointed out that its movements appeared unnatural, unlike those of any known species. Despite the widespread attention, no independent investigation has confirmed or debunked the footage. What is certain is that the video ignited worldwide fascination and discussion, leaving the question wide open. In the late summer of 1944, the small town of Mattoon, Illinois, was gripped by fear when reports spread of a mysterious figure who came to be known as the Mad Gasser. It began on August 31st, when resident Urban Raef awoke to a sweet, sickly odor, followed by nausea and vomiting. His wife, who went to check the stove, was suddenly paralyzed from the waist down. The next night, Aline Kearney reported the same strange smell, lost feeling in her legs, and saw her husband chase a tall man in dark clothing and a cap away from their home. Over the next 2 weeks, more than 20 townspeople reported similar incidents: dizziness, coughing, paralysis, and the smell of gas. Some even claimed to see a shadowy figure wielding a spray device, supposedly pumping gas through open windows. Panic set in. Armed groups patrolled the streets, and the FBI intervened. Yet no chemical evidence was ever found, and victims recovered quickly. Police suspected mass hysteria, fueled by wartime anxieties and sensational headlines. A local chemist, Farley Llewellyn, was briefly suspected due to his background and outsider status, but close surveillance cleared him. Was the Mad Gasser a real attacker, an industrial accident, or a case of collective delusion? The mystery, documented in the Journal of Abnormal and Social Psychology in 1945, remains a chilling example of fear sweeping through an entire community. In the 1970s, a chimpanzee named Oliver captured worldwide attention for his strangely human-like traits. Found in Congo, Oliver walked upright, had a bald head, and a less prominent brow ridge than typical chimpanzees. Rumors spread that he was a human-chimpanzee hybrid, a so-called humanzee. His owners, trainers Frank and Janet Berger, paraded him on television shows where he drank coffee, smoked cigars, and even mixed cocktails, astonishing audiences. Some speculated that he was the result of a genetic experiment, or even a missing link. The discovery that Oliver had 47 chromosomes, between the human number of 46 and the chimpanzee's 48, only intensified the speculation. While scientists dismissed him as a normal chimpanzee, possibly from a rare subspecies, his odd behavior kept the myth alive. Oliver preferred the company of humans, avoided other chimpanzees, and allegedly showed an unsettling interest in human women, making his handlers uneasy. In 1996, genetic testing finally confirmed that he was an ordinary chimpanzee, likely from a Gabonese population known for upright posture. Still, his peculiarities continue to intrigue. Oliver spent his final years in a Texas sanctuary, where he died in 2012, but his legend lives on as a symbol of humanity's obsession with the thin boundary between man and beast. Albert Johnson, infamous as the Mad Trapper of Rat River, remains one of Canada's greatest enigmas. In 1931, a man calling himself Johnson appeared in Fort McPherson, Northwest Territories. He built a small cabin along the Rat River without the required trapping license. Local indigenous trappers soon reported their traps being tampered with, and some claimed Johnson threatened them at gunpoint. On December 26, 1931, 2 RCMP officers attempted to question him. Johnson fired through the door, severely wounding Constable Alfred King, and triggered one of the most dramatic manhunts in Canadian history. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, aided by indigenous trackers, pursued Johnson across the frozen wilderness. Despite brutal conditions and his uncanny survival skills, Johnson was finally cornered at the Eagle River. On February 17, 1932, a fierce gun battle erupted and Johnson was killed. His true identity, however, was never uncovered. While he used the name Albert Johnson, forensic evidence suggested Scandinavian origins, possibly Swedish. DNA testing linked him to descendants of Gustav Magnusson and Britta Svensdotter from Sweden, but his exact ancestry remains unresolved. The Mad Trapper's story inspired countless books, songs, and the 1981 film Death Hunt, securing his place as one of Canada's most mysterious fugitives. Badgeman is one of the most debated figures in conspiracy theories surrounding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The name refers to a shadowy figure that some claim is visible in a photo taken by Dallas resident Mary Mormon on November 22, 1963, moments after the fatal shot. The Polaroid, known as the Mormon photo, has been scrutinized for decades. In the image taken near Dealey Plaza, some researchers believe they can make out a figure behind the wooden fence on the infamous grassy knoll. The blurry shape appears to show a man in a police uniform with a reflective badge on his chest, leading to the nickname Badgeman. The theory gained traction in the 1980s when researcher Gary Mack obtained a sharper copy of the photo. After enhancing it, Mack and colleague Jack White argued the figure wore a uniform and may have been a second gunman. Critics counter that the image is nothing more than an optical illusion created by shadows and foliage. Whether Badgeman was a real shooter, a trick of light, or something in between remains uncertain. But the mystery still haunts the unanswered questions of who truly killed JFK. In a bizarre event, a video emerged showing chickens falling from the sky onto a quiet street in an unknown city. This sparked a wave of theories about how these winged creatures ended up crashing onto the unsuspecting asphalt. A plausible explanation could be a freak weather phenomenon. Just as fish or frogs can fall from the sky during storms, a strong air current or tornado might have carried the chickens from a nearby farm or poultry business. Such weather conditions create powerful winds, capable of carrying lightweight animals over significant distances before they land. Another theory suggests this incident could have been the result of an unconventional prank or stunt, where the chickens were dropped from above. In an era where social media thrives on viral content, it's not too far-fetched to imagine someone orchestrating a chicken drop as a publicity stunt. This could involve using drones or other devices to release the chickens from height. There's also the possibility of an accidental escape, where a vehicle on an elevated road or bridge might have caused the chickens to fall out. Jianmen Pass is an important mountain pass in the Sichuan province in China, specifically southwest of the city Guangyon. This pass is known for its historical and cultural significance and served as a vital fortress and protective barrier for the region through various dynasties. The Jianmen Pass has deep roots in Chinese history, particularly in relation to the Three Kingdoms period. It's often considered a strategic military point due to the challenging terrain and its role in controlling access to Sichuan. The pass is also celebrated for its connection to the Shu Road culture and war culture, making it a rich historical site for exploration and tourism. Its geography is incredibly steep and rocky, which feeds into the perception that it would be nearly impossible to navigate or even overcome. This daunting terrain historically deterred invasions and contributed to its defensive reputation. However, there's another issue. Local folklore is full of stories about supernatural events and heroic deeds connected to the pass. Tales of ghostly apparitions or legendary battles make the location almost surreal. Ayuwoki is a meme and internet horror figure that first appeared in 2009 and exploded in popularity across Spanish-speaking online communities in 2019. The name Ayuwoki is a deliberate distortion of the line "Annie, are you okay?" from Michael Jackson's song Smooth Criminal, which, when spoken quickly, sounds like Ayuwoki in Spanish phonetics. The meme originated from a YouTube video titled My Ghoul Jackson, uploaded on July 27, 2009 by user Thomas Rengstorff. It featured an animatronic figure based on Jackson's Thriller era. Originally a repurposed alive Elvis model, its jerky movements and creepy facial expressions made it terrifying. The Ayuwoki is depicted as a cryptid-like creature resembling Michael Jackson, with distorted features and an eerie presence. In online lore, he appears at night in your room, often accompanied by Jackson's iconic hee-hee. The meme spread rapidly through YouTube and social media, fueled by connections to other internet horror phenomena like Momo. In 2019, the horror game Escape the Ayuwoki was released, in which players must explore a mansion while avoiding a sound-hunting creature that calls out hee-hee. On an ordinary day, a security camera showed a girl standing on a busy street, waiting to cross. While she stood there, seemingly lost in thought, an unexpected event occurred. Out of nowhere, a dazzling portal materialized right before her eyes, pulsating with an otherworldly glow. The air around it crackled with energy, creating an eerie atmosphere. Just as the girl registered the strange phenomenon, she was abruptly sucked into the portal with incredible force, suggesting a strong gravitational pull. Upon closer inspection, however, there seemed to be something unusual about the girl's behavior just before the portal opened. Her hands moved in a series of strange, deliberate gestures, almost as if she was casting a spell or summoning the portal itself. This raised puzzling questions. Or was she actually pulled in against her will? As the footage continued, the girl disappeared into the swirling vortex, leaving no trace behind. The street returned to its normal bustle, with pedestrians oblivious to the supernatural event that had just occurred. This mysterious incident raised profound questions about the nature of the portal and its implications. A glitch in the Matrix, or just a cat being a cat? In this video, we see a mother and daughter walking, while a cat does something highly improbable. Right behind them, a cute cat appears, determined to keep up with them. As they continue their peaceful walk, a car suddenly races by. In a moment that captures the essence of the cat's agility, the cat performs a backward somersault, gracefully flipping through the air as if practicing for a circus act. Of course, the cat landed on its feet, but it almost seemed as if the cat was startled and dropped its feline act. Have you ever seen a cat do such a somersault, or was this a glitch in the Matrix? Let me know in the comments. Loyon, often called the Ghost of Moles, was a mysterious figure who roamed the forest near Moles, Switzerland, from the early 2000s until 2013. Witnesses described him as a tall figure, about 6 feet 3 inches or 1.9 meters, dressed in a dark cloak, military garb, and an old-fashioned gas mask that completely obscured his face. The first sightings dated back to the late 1990s, when hikers regularly encountered him on Sunday walks. Some saw him picking flowers, while others recalled him silently wandering the trails in his unsettling outfit. Despite his ominous appearance, he was never known to act aggressively. In August 2013, the Swiss newspaper Le Mattoon published the first photo of Loyon, taken by an anonymous hiker. Soon after, his cloak and mask were discovered abandoned in the woods, along with a letter titled Death Certificate and Testament of the Ghost of Moles. In it, Loyon wrote that the media attention had ruined his happiness therapy, as he called his solitary walks. The letter concluded with the words, "The ghost disappears. The risk of a witch hunt is too great. He was never seen again." A recent clip uploaded to TikTok may show a shapeshifter caught on camera. This raises questions about what actually happened. In the footage, a car speeds down a narrow street, and at first glance, it appears that a large gray creature is following closely behind the car. Suddenly, the scene takes a turn. As we can see, the creature seems to transform into a man who calmly walks away from the street, seemingly unfazed by the situation. However, if you watch the clip a few more times, the truth becomes clearer. It appears that the figure may have jumped from the moving car, fallen to the ground, recovered, and walked away from the scene. As the clip progresses, another car enters the frame from the top corner. This vehicle seems to have flashing lights on its roof, suggesting it could be a security or a possible law enforcement. This unexpected twist adds another layer of intrigue to the clip, making viewers wonder if it's a shapeshifter. A small robot named Air B in Shanghai caught the public's attention and went viral due to what many have labeled a robot kidnapping. This unusual incident took place in a showroom in China. The footage of this incident was a creepy realization for many people. Air B approached a larger robot and joked, "Are you still working overtime?" It then started a chant of "Go home," to which the larger robots unexpectedly joined in and followed it. The image of these heavy machines following a tiny robot is both funny and somewhat unsettling, raising questions about the influence and autonomy of AI in our daily lives. Some believe this was a pre-planned test to elevate Air B's influence over its larger counterparts. For a while, researchers have been studying how a smaller AI entity can influence and manipulate the behavior of larger, more powerful machines. Pretty creepy. Is this what it's going to look like when robots start to take over? What do you think? The Somerton Man case is one of Australia's most enduring unsolved mysteries. On December 1st, 1948, a well-dressed, unidentified man was found dead on Somerton Beach near Adelaide, with no identification on him. In a hidden pocket of his trousers, investigators discovered a tiny piece of paper with the words "Tamam Shud," meaning ended or finished, the final line from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Later, a copy of the book was found in a nearby car containing a cryptic code, making the case even stranger. Theories abounded for decades. Was he a Soviet spy, a jilted lover, or part of a secret mission? His body was exhumed in 2021 for modern DNA testing. A year later, in July 2022, researchers concluded that he was most likely Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. Yet questions about his mysterious death and the encrypted messages remain unanswered, ensuring that the mystery of the Somerton Man continues to fascinate. Do you know you can tell if a year is going to be a good one within the first few months? At least for the most part, 2025 seems promising when it comes to alien activity. This could be the year aliens finally gather the courage to approach us, perhaps already observing us from up close with a hint of mockery. Passengers in a car driving down a highway happened to look up and saw what they 100% believed to be an alien. This mysterious alien-like figure appeared to be hovering more than flying, which understandably startled the car passengers. How would you react if you were driving to work or home and suddenly saw an alien in the sky? Let me know in the comments. How long can someone smile at you before it goes from cute to creepy? Apparently that number is somewhere above 10 seconds, because the longer this woman smiles in this video, the creepier it becomes. Sitting at a baseball game, she was filmed confusing people. Some viewers labored her smile as eerie, suggesting that the unusual intensity of her expression created an unsettling atmosphere. This reaction often stems from a psychological phenomenon known as the uncanny valley, where something nearly human but not quite can evoke discomfort. Others have called the video a matrix glitch, implying that the woman's behavior was a sign of something deeper, maybe a flaw in reality itself. Additionally, some people labeled her expression as a sign of demonic possession. In social settings, there are unspoken norms about how long you should smile. Typically, smiles are brief and context-dependent. A smile that lasts longer than expected can feel awkward, making people wonder if the emotions being expressed are genuine. In October 1593, Spanish soldier Gil Perez experienced something extraordinary in Manila, Philippines. While on guard duty at the Palacio del Gobernador, he suddenly grew dizzy, closed his eyes, and found himself thousands of miles away in Mexico City. Authorities arrested him in the Plaza Mayor, skeptical of his bizarre story. Months later, a ship arrived from the Philippines bearing news that Governor Gomez Perez das Marinas had been killed, an event Perez had already described. A crew member even recognized Perez as the soldier he had seen in Manila shortly after the governor's death, convincing officials of his truthfulness. Eventually, Perez was allowed to return. Over the centuries, the tale has been retold as folklore, though modern theories suggest teleportation, time slips, or even alien abduction. With no hard evidence, it remains one of history's strangest stories of impossible travel. In June 2024, an intriguing video surfaced online, showing a mysterious man dressed in black seemingly walking through security gates, as if he were a hologram. This strange sight caught attention and sparked wide speculation on social media platforms. What added to the intrigue of this video was the presence of an elderly woman who curiously watched the scene. When she tried to follow the man, she quickly discovered that she couldn't walk through the gates as he did. This moment deepened the mystery, leading viewers to wonder what special powers the man had. As the video circulated, various theories emerged. Some viewers speculated that the man could be a vampire, a creature often depicted in folklore and popular culture as capable of moving through solid objects. This idea drew inspiration from classic vampire legends, where such supernatural beings possess extraordinary powers that defy the laws of physics. Others suggested that the man could be a dimensional being, perhaps a visitor from another dimension or parallel universe. For 7 months, a woman in China became the victim of a relentless vandalism campaign, targeting her apartment door. The perpetrator repeatedly smeared human feces and urine on her front door, creating a disturbing environment. In addition to the physical defilement, the woman also received letters accusing her of disturbing other people's families, further escalating the harassment she endured. Desperate for a solution, she decided to install a series of CCTV cameras to monitor her front door and identify the culprit. After an investigation, she eventually uncovered the shocking truth. The cameras captured video footage of a 42-year-old man who was seen with his unusual mask during one of the incidents. Based on the evidence from the videos, he was arrested in connection with the disturbing attacks on her property. This revelation brought a sense of relief to the woman, who had lived in fear and uncertainty for months. The Isdal woman is one of Norway's most haunting unsolved mysteries. On November 29, 1970, a father and his daughters discovered the burned body of an unidentified woman in the Isdalen Valley near Bergen. Around her were belongings: a nearly empty liquor bottle, a passport holder, and clothing with all the labels removed. Days later, 2 suitcases linked to her were found at Bergen's railway station, containing false passports, cash, and more label-free clothes. Witnesses reported that she spoke multiple languages, frequently changed hotels, and often disguised herself with wigs. Some speculated she was a Cold War spy, as her travels coincided with secret missile tests in Norway. In 2016, the case gained new attention through the BBC/NRK podcast Death in Ice Valley. Isotope analysis of her teeth suggested she came from the region around Nuremberg or the French-German border. Yet despite decades of investigation, her true identity remains unknown. In Weber County, Utah, a dedicated search and rescue team was equipped with a drone to rescue 2 stranded hikers. Around 3 p.m., the team received an emergency call that 2 hikers had veered off the trail in Buse Canyon. For 5 miles or 8 kilometers from the trailhead, they were faced with steep cliffs and dangerous conditions, including deep snow and ice. As the search and rescue volunteers prepared to head out on foot, the drone was quickly deployed. With a binocular camera, thermal imaging, and a laser rangefinder, this advanced equipment was able to quickly locate the stranded hikers. Kyle Nordfors, the coordinator of the drone team, highlighted the impressive features of the drone, which allowed it to provide crucial support during rescue operations. The hikers' family members, worried for their loved ones, found comfort in the drone footage, which broadcasted the rescue efforts in real time. What we see here appears to be a hut-like structure, mysteriously moving and then nearly flipping as if it's animated, eventually standing upright. It's a bizarre situation involving a faceless hut, resembling a creepy ritual. A man clearly attempts to capture the hut but fails, as it starts jumping and spinning. All that's left is to try and decipher what it might have been. Was it witchcraft? For reference, the Kupo dance, as it's called, is a traditional performance associated with the Jola people of Gambia and Senegal. It features the mythical figure Kumpo, a central character in the dance. The dance is performed during cultural festivals, such as the Journeys Cotrieles, and encourages villagers to come together and participate in community activities. During the Kumpo dance, participants typically dance, sing, clap, and drum. The performance is vibrant, often incorporating dramatic elements like spinning and moving of the Kumpo figure in mesmerizing ways. Meet the Green Children of Woolpit, a mystery that has captured imaginations for centuries. According to 12th century chroniclers William of Newburgh and Ralph of Coggeshall, during the reign of King Stephen, 2 strange children appeared in the village of Woolpit, Suffolk. They were discovered near a wolf pit, deep traps used for catching wolves, and were described as having green-tinged skin and speaking an unknown language. Their clothes were unfamiliar, and they refused all food until they were offered raw broad beans, which they devoured. Over time, they adapted to a normal diet, and their green skin faded. The boy died soon after his baptism, but the girl survived, learned English, and claimed she came from St. Martin's Land, a place where the sun never shone and everything was green. Historians suggest the children may have been Flemish immigrants fleeing to England during the Civil War known as the Anarchy. Their odd skin color could be explained by malnutrition-related anemia, or even arsenic poisoning. Still, the legend persisted. In the 17th century, Robert Burton went further, speculating that the children had literally fallen from heaven, a theory later reimagined as evidence of extraterrestrial origin. One day during his lunch break in La Crescenta, California, Jake Gardner decided to take a walk through the woods. While wandering, he suddenly heard unusual squeaking sounds from the trees above him. The forest felt eerily silent, and Jake had the distinct feeling that something was watching him. In a moment of unease, he pulled out his phone to capture what he feared might be his last moments. Though he saw nothing out of the ordinary, the feeling of threat lingered, prompting him to leave the forest quickly. When he got home, he reviewed the footage and discovered a strange figure that had been captured on camera. This mysterious sighting caught the attention of a local news outlet. Wildlife experts noted that the creature resembled some sort of ape-like being, which isn't native to California's ecosystems. Their only explanation is that it could have been an illegally released pet. What else could this strange green figure have been? Let me know in the comments. Deep in the woods, a camera captured a clear figure at the right moment, leaping as if dancing, which might have been the mythical Kurama Ninetails. The nine-tailed fox, or kitsune in Japanese, is a prominent figure in East Asian mythology, particularly in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean cultures. This mythical being is often depicted as a fox capable of transforming into a human, usually a beautiful woman. The number of tails it possesses is of great importance, with each tail representing age, wisdom, and power. It's believed that this mythical creature may have been captured on camera in real life, thus making it more than just a myth. The origins of the Ninetails can be traced back to ancient Chinese mythology, where the fox spirit is often associated with various themes, like prosperity, love, and marriage. For example, one ancient myth tells of Yu the Great, who met a white fox, and interpreted it as an auspicious sign for his future marriage to a fox spirit named Niaho. The case of Roland Doe, later revealed as Ronald Edwin Hunkler, is one of the most famous alleged instances of demonic possession in modern history. The events of 1949 inspired William Peter Blatty's novel The Exorcist and the 1973 classic horror film. Roland, a 13-year-old boy from Cottage City, Maryland, was raised in a German Lutheran household. His fascination with the occult began when his aunt introduced him to a Ouija board. After her death, the family reported strange phenomena, unexplained noises, furniture moving on its own, and objects levitating. Their minister, alarmed after witnessing these events himself, urged them to seek Catholic help. Jesuit priests William S. Bowdern and Raymond J. Bishop performed a series of exorcisms, both at Georgetown University Hospital and in St. Louis. Roland displayed terrifying behaviors, growling and unnatural voices, bouts of inhuman strength, violent aversion to religious symbols, and even words like hell and evil appearing scratched into his skin. After weeks of rituals, the disturbances ceased, and Roland returned to a seemingly normal life. This woman was simply filming herself in the mirror, capturing a moment of her daily life. However, what she captured on camera was far from normal. While filming, her reflection seemed to move on its own, with her eyes shifting in ways she hadn't consciously directed. The woman stood still, completely unaware of the strange movements happening behind her. What really disturbed viewers was how her reflection moved differently, strangely, almost unnaturally, like it had its own will and emotions, separate from her actual movements. The way it blinked, smiled, and tilted its head felt out of sync with her own actions. Questions flooded the comments about what happened. Was it just a glitch in the camera, a lighting trick, or could it be something much stranger? Some viewers speculated about the possibility of alternate dimensions, where the reflection might represent a completely different version of herself. Others suggested it could be a manifestation of the subconscious, revealing hidden fears or emotions that the woman wasn't aware of. A remarkable sight in the sky was captured above the Denver Technological Center, located in the southeastern part of Denver, Colorado. The footage shows a strange object that is clearly different from a typical balloon. The object's movement is particularly striking. It moves in a straight line with no swaying or wobbling, demonstrating an unsettling stability. The woman follows an object along its path, but eventually loses sight of it. Fortunately, impressive video footage of the object was captured as it approached, along with close-ups as it passed overhead. According to the source, this intriguing object was about the size of a Cessna plane and was estimated to be around half a mile or 800 meters away. The sighting occurred while the source was driving in traffic, raising countless questions and sparking speculation about the true nature of the object. What do you think it was? The Leatherman was a mysterious vagabond who wandered a 365-mile or 587-kilometer circuit between the Connecticut and Hudson Rivers from 1857 to 1889. He wore a handmade leather suit weighing about 60 pounds or 27 kilograms, which earned him his nickname. Remarkably punctual, he passed through the same towns in Connecticut and New York every 34 days, where residents came to recognize him and sometimes offered food. He spoke little, usually in short phrases or grunts, though he was fluent in French. After his death, a French prayer book was found among his belongings, suggesting French or French-Canadian origins. Some speculated he was Jules Bourglet, a French shoemaker who lived a life of penance after personal tragedy. Others saw him as a pilgrim seeking solitude. He slept in caves, later called the Leatherman Caves, which he maintained with woodpiles and small gardens. He died on March 24, 1889, and was buried in Ossining, New York. When his grave was opened in 2011 for DNA analysis, only animal bones and nails were found, leaving his true identity unsolved. Sitting by his window, a man noticed an old woman standing in the shadows of the bushes, her gaunt figure barely illuminated by the dim light, as though she shouldn't be there. At first, he thought she might be lost or confused, perhaps looking for her way home. But as he continued to observe her, an unsettling feeling crept over him. Her stare seemed to pierce through the glass, straight into his soul. The longer he looked, the more he felt an inexplicable chill in the air. The woman remained motionless, not saying a word, as if time had frozen and he was trapped in a foreboding exchange with an almost extraterrestrial figure. Many cultures believe in the concept of wandering spirits, souls that have not found peace after death. This old woman could be one such spirit, caught between the realms of the living and the dead, perhaps seeking reassurance or trying to communicate a message. In Irish folklore, the banshee is a harbinger of death, often depicted as an old woman who cries or wails, but her presence signifies impending tragedy. Could this woman have been a warning? The man, however, decided never to look out his window again out of fear. The after-movie Eunuch's New Year's Dive 2023 captures the highlights of the annual New Year's Dive event in the Netherlands. This event is a tradition where participants take a plunge into the cold North Sea to celebrate the new year. It shows moments where brave divers run into the freezing sea, and the vibrant atmosphere is something you wouldn't believe if it weren't caught on camera. Take a moment to imagine what it would feel like. As you jump into the cold North Sea, the immediate sensation is that of intense cold enveloping your body. The water temperature might be just above freezing, sending a shockwave through your system, causing your skin to tingle and feel numb. This initial shock quickly gives way to an adrenaline boost. Your heart races faster as the cold sharpens your senses. An intense mix of excitement and fear drives you forward. A bizarre video circulated showing a man lying on the ground, surrounded by a crowd, whose lower body appeared transformed into that of a cow, complete with hooves and a tail. Onlookers reacted with a mix of fear and fascination. Though almost certainly staged or digitally altered, the footage tapped into ancient myths of humans cursed into animals. In folklore, the transformation of an unfaithful man into a cow symbolized fertility and servitude, serving as ironic punishment for wrongdoing. Similar tales of magical shape-shifting appear in African, Asian, and indigenous traditions, often as cautionary stories to enforce moral codes. It's unclear what exactly is happening in this video, but some speculate that it might be related to a rare controversial condition. This mysterious condition is characterized by a series of disturbing symptoms, including crawling sensations under the skin and swollen hands. Patients often describe a stinging, burning, or biting sensation, which can be extremely debilitating. One of the most notable features of Morgellons is the presence of unusual fibers in the skin, which can be black, white, red, or even blue. In addition to skin issues, some patients also experience muscle and joint pain, as well as cognitive complaints like memory problems. This video raises many questions. What exactly is going on with this woman? Her unusual movements and potential skin symptoms have some speculating, but the medical community remains divided. Some researchers view the fibers as a physical reaction, while others believe it's a psychological condition linked to delusions of parasites. This has led to an ongoing debate. Is it Morgellons or a neurological misinterpretation of normal sensations? What we see in this video remains a mystery, but what do you think? Is it a rare medical phenomenon, or is it something else at play? What started as an ordinary workday took an unexpected turn, resembling a story from mythical folklore. A sewer worker, busy on the edge of a drain, stumbled upon a creature that defied all logic. It resembled a snake, but this was no ordinary reptile. It had horns protruding from its head and ears, giving it a creepy alien-like appearance. The footage quickly went viral, sparking intense debates. Skeptics dismissed it as a hoax, calling it a bizarre art installation, while true believers were convinced they were witnessing something far more extraordinary. In a world full of mysteries, who can truly discern the line between myth and reality? Some suggest the creature could be a new species of cryptid, an unknown animal that has managed to evade scientific observation. This ties in with folklore about mythical creatures hiding in secret places. Another theory suggests that genetic mutations caused by pollution or environmental conditions might lead to abnormal features, like horns and unusual coloring. Lastly, we could consider a more mystical interpretation and believe that this creature is a manifestation of local folklore. What's the most mysterious thing you've ever experienced? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Conditions might lead to abnormal features, like horns and unusual coloring. Lastly, we could consider a more mystical interpretation and believe that this creature is a manifestation of local folklore. What's the most... The Zodiac Killer remains one of the most infamous and mysterious figures in American criminal history. Active in Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s, he is officially linked to 5 murders, though he claimed 37 victims. His attacks, often targeting young couples in secluded areas, shocked the public not just for their brutality, but for the taunting letters he sent to newspapers like the San Francisco Chronicle. These notes contained threats, cryptic symbols, and complex ciphers, some of which remain unsolved to this day. The Zodiac openly mocked police and journalists, creating a climate of fear and sensationalism. Despite decades of investigation, countless suspects, and modern DNA testing, his identity has never been confirmed. Names like Arthur Lee Allen linger as strong possibilities, but no definitive proof has ever surfaced. To this day, the Zodiac Killer stands as a chilling emblem of one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. Have you ever encountered a mysterious person, or do you know someone who could be considered one? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.